Welcome, friends. Once again, now we have our technical problem resolved. We have Jose Monterrosa, who is joining us on Victor Escalante Live. Jose, you've become a resident marketer. It's like anything related to marketing, you are the guru to go to.
Well, I've been in the industry for so many years. I think I know a few tricks. But I'm very glad to share that information with your audience.
All you're lacking is technical skills on how to navigate digital digital studios.
Yes, that I still need to learn. It's an interesting platform, the one that you have right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in all honesty and full disclosure, when my publicist first tried to get me to do a Zoom call, I couldn't even connect.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people have learned a lot of that by this time, right? Now
Absolutely.
you use a StreamYard, so that's a new one for
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what broke my fear of going live and having a mistake was Cami. I believe her last name is Watson. She's a famous marketer and
Okay.
here in Houston, and everything that could go wrong that day went
It went
wrong with
wrong.
live transmission. And so that's what did it for me. Is like if she can do it, in spite of all these different obstacles, this is a guru that if everything went wrong for her, I can get this. It's like nothing's going to hold me back. So let's get
Yeah.
started.
All right.
Jose, what are we going to talk about today? Last week, for our listeners, we talked about the branding of
Right.
a law firm and why it's important for
Right.
your brand to be able to communicate your values to the consumer, to your client, so that you can have a match, so that you speak the language of the client. So, in continuation of that, what are we talking about today, Jose?
Well, gaining how attorneys can gain visibility online and specifically on social media networks. Uh, in a way, a lot of the things that are associated with social media networks are connected to the conversation that we had last week.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's the message, right? How are we engaging that audience? What are they knowing about us? Uh, what are we expecting ourselves to be perceived by them? So those things can be managed and can get under control. So yes, I mean, how to gain more visibility on social media platforms.
And Jose, you have tremendous experience in this and working with different agencies and working with different companies on how to carry on effective conversations with groups and how to message properly and engage with social media. After all, social is about connections. It's about having a discussion with your consumer, with your customer,
Correct.
or friends of your customer that sometimes will recommend you to them.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, the way I see it, and basically what I'm sharing is based on my experience, right? What I have seen with other clients. But I guess for a lot of clients, one of the most important things is to have that core foundation set in place the right way. And by that I mean, many times it will be that. A client will want to be in every single social media platform there
Yes.
is, and
Yes.
that may not be necessarily the smartest way to do this. So I think that knowing things such as where do you want to be, where do you want to concentrate your message, is this the right platform for my business? Those are the questions that need to be asked in order to maximize your resources. I find it very difficult to be across all platforms. And someone can say, hey, but we have Hootsuite. I can post on these 4 different platforms at the same
Yes.
time. Yeah, but that doesn't solve the problem that, you may have one audience on one platform and you may have another audience on another platform. So, yes, the technology is there to post everywhere,
Jose,
but
why is it important the nuance of the audience per platform? Is like, why do you not want to have the same message for all platforms? Why is that
because
important?
because at the end of the day you may have different audiences in those different platforms, so you
Okay.
may be communicating, may be using a different tone
Yes.
on Facebook. You may be using a different tone on Instagram. You may be using a different language or visual approach on TikTok,
Yes.
which to me is more fun, right? But compare TikTok to LinkedIn, is a completely different world, and you're
Absolutely.
relaying the same message using the same tone, the same language on both
Yes.
platforms. I think that can lead to a mistake.
We
So
have
that's
we have David Reyes, who has just joined us. A big shout out. David Reyes, I've known him for many years, and he is a very successful restaurateur who heads up his own brand of restaurants now. So we got to be able to give him something of value, Jose. So thank
okay.
you for joining us, Jose. Uh,
Thanks for the challenge.
in fact, David asked the question, which platform works better for advertising meals of my restaurant? How would you answer that?
I mean, I will say that depending on the target audience that you have, it's going to vary, right? But I will say that overall, Instagram is very visual. And I am seeing a lot of restaurants doing a lot of fun stuff on Instagram, especially Reels, using Reels,
Yes.
which, by the way, to gain, because of the competition with TikTok,
Sure.
Meta, changed things a
Sure.
little bit with Instagram. So making reels and to gain new followers on Instagram is almost like the ideal way of doing it. So, I mean, I guess you have to be creative on how you want to display your products.
Yes.
And there are multiple ways of doing that, right? But the channel, to me right now, I will say Reels on Instagram.
Stay tuned, David, because I'm going to give you some specific tips down the road. But right out of the gate, Jose, this is the
Yes,
question that we need to answer first. How can
right.
attorneys gain visibility online, specifically on social networks? So give us
Yes.
the secret sauce.
So basically, what I talked to you about in the beginning, having the foundation set in place is, I think, is a step number one to gain
Okay.
that visibility on online, right? Knowing which platform you want to be on and what role those platforms play in your business. But another thing that I believe needs to be set in place is to separate content management with lead generation.
Okay.
If you're in a small business, then maybe, I mean, and you have one person working on this,
They
then
can be
that's what
part
you
of the
have,
team. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But if you're a mid-size or a larger business, then you definitely want to think about, one thing is engaging and having those conversations and posting on social media platforms. Another thing is lead generation,
Yes.
advertising,
Yes.
how to segment those people that you want to advertise to. So that is the other thing that I wanted to set in place.
Jose, let me ask you a question. Do you recommend having a designated day to cover a particular topic or to message and engage with a certain segment of, for example, the law firm? If the law firm handles immigration, labor law,
Mhm.
business law, real estate law, it's like, do you recommend that they dedicate a particular day to where it's a themed day of the week? What do you recommend? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely, you hit it right on. I mean, I think it's important for, maybe depending on the level of content that you're generating, at least setting one day of the week that will be your social media day, meaning that's the day that you dedicate morning and afternoon to generate content, right?
Yes.
We do this with basically all the clients. I mean, we set days to generate that content for the week and the week after. And we don't go any further because things may change
Yes.
on the daily basis or on the weekly basis. But having that day of the week that you can shoot for 1 or 2 weeks, I think is essential to keep things in order and to keep it organized. In fact, I was going to talk about that a little bit further in the conversation, but yes, I mean, you need to do that.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to be running around
Let's keep
And
this going. So, how can
yeah,
attorneys be more strategic with their message on social media? It's like, what does it require? Why be strategic? Why can't
yes,
just post pictures of your puppies
yeah,
or what you had for lunch or what you're doing this
right.
weekend?
Yeah, and that's exactly what usually happens, right? I mean, you are called to get a photo of this group that is in this building or this side of the office, and then you run around and take the photo, and that's your social media post of the day, which is
Yes,
fine. You did your duty, but is it a strategic? I really doubt it. I mean, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve, but I doubt it. But anyways, how to gain that visibility, how to be more strategic and not be improvising all the time. I think this goes back to the conversation that we had on the show last week about understanding what are the attributes, what are the benefits, and what are the values
okay,
that are associated with your business. And what are the attributes, what are the benefits, and what are the values associated with your competitors. Because depending on how you see yourself, how you see your business, and how you see yourself against others that are comparing directly with you, that's how you are going to adjust your message. So, by doing this type of exercise, which, by the way, last week I explained that you can use qualitative or quantitative means to do that. Qualitative meaning focus groups, in-depth interviews. Quantitative, doing perhaps data analysis, and that's a completely different ball game. Data analysis, there are plenty of data analysis that can do like very deep understanding of what competitors are doing and what is working for them, right?
correct.
So but anyways, the point is understanding those attributes, benefits, and values, how they are connected. Those are the ones that I feel will give you the themes that you can use in a more strategic way. So after doing that part of the research, you may end up with 5 different themes that you need to hit on throughout the
Yes,
year. So you set your calendar for the year, and you know that this is strategically, this is the way that I'm going to communicate with my audience through social media platforms. And it may just be that through social media platforms and other offline platforms as well. So I don't think it's exclusive of social media, but the fact of knowing what those 5, 6, or 7 themes are the ones that you're going to be hitting on throughout a 1 year period, I think can set you in the right place. Of course, there's going to be things that happen along the way, right?
sure.
There are going to be tactical things that you need to take care of,
And
such
just to
as,
piggyback on what you're talking about, coming from legacy media, that's the
mhm,
way editorial calendars are set up, sometimes a year in advance, to
right,
know
exactly,
publications, for example, in print, are going to be run so that you match the advertisers to the publication, because that's perfect product placement, because you're covering certain topics, whether it's Valentine's, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Father's Day. It's like you are product placing companies that cater and sell those services associated with the holiday or the season. So that's what
exactly,
we're talking about here, is creating and being opportunistic in terms of what's on the minds of consumers, your clients.
right,
Uh, Another example, since I worked at a very large national law firm and I was part of the marketing team, is one of the things that we would heavily advertise and promote is we're open on Saturdays. Okay.
hmm,
Most law firms are closed on weekends, but we were open on Saturdays 9 to 5. And guess what? The lobby was to full capacity
yeah,
because we wanted new clients to come in for a consultation, knowing that they would not be turned away, knowing that the doors would not be closed until every last customer was seen. So it's important to understand what's important to your customer so that you communicate that over and over and over and over consistently. Just like we talked about the the famous lawyer, the Hammer, on
Mhm.
how he is perceived because he spent millions of dollars in branding the Hammer, how he's going to hammer the competition. We
Right.
have Stephanie Marshall, who has joined us. She says, "Thank you for the tips. I have a professional home organizing business and have not done reels, but I see that a lot of people are using them. They
Oh,
just
use
aren't
them.
my style. Should I go ahead and do it?" What would you say?
Yes. Yes, if you want to gain followers on Instagram, definitely. I mean, all you have to do is see the statistics in your Instagram profile after maybe a couple of weeks of doing maybe 3 reels per week to see the difference. You're going to see the difference between uh, regular post, regular stories, and reels is significant. And so I strongly recommend, all those clients to, if you want to gain new followers,
Yes,
definitely Reels is the way to go. If you want to maintain the relationship with your existing customers, then continue to post. I'm not saying just do Reels all the time, right? I'm just saying that if
it's the
for the
mix.
purpose
It's
of
part of the
bringing
mix.
new followers, yeah,
Yeah. And since I know you, Stephanie, get a hold of me because I'm going to give you a hack on how to turn your phone, your smartphone, or tablet into a teleprompter. So I'm going to give you that secret sauce. So get a
yeah.
hold of me and I'll teach you how to do it.
And
All
and
right.
and don't forget to set that social media day of the week, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Sure.
So Jose, just I know you weren't prepared for this question, but what day of the week would you advise Stephanie would be good for reels? Again, her business is home organizing.
Right. At the end of the day, it really depends on the business, right? But I will say by default, I wouldn't do it on a Monday. I wouldn't do it on a Friday.
Yeah,
Maybe the week, mid of the week will be
yeah,
ideal. In my case, Tuesdays and Wednesdays are probably the best because, you have your company meeting on a Monday morning, so
yes.
you already know what's coming for the week. Then maybe by Tuesday, I already have everything set up or by Wednesday, you already have everything set up to do that, to make that social media content for the week or the next 2 weeks.
I'm going to give you another tip, Stephanie. Get a testimonial from a satisfied client for your reel. It's like
Absolutely.
testimonials work gold.
Yeah.
Don't wait for people to recommend you. Use them. Use a satisfied customer to recommend yourself by asking for a recommendation by doing a testimonial. All right,
And
Jose, we're on a
and,
roll.
and I Yeah,
Yes,
if I can just add a little bit more to that, I mean, don't be afraid of testing things. You know,
yes.
you're gonna learn a lot by
Just
just
like we
doing.
tested this morning and we screwed up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. After a month, you're gonna realize, okay, so these type of posts or these type of reels are the
Yes,
ones that are working for me. That's what I'm going to focus on.
yes. So, Jose, next question out of the box. What are some of the practical steps attorneys can take to stay relevant? Why is relevancy important?
Why is relevant important? Well, the thing that we were talking about, setting the themes, right, and making sure that you have a plan throughout the year. You need to answer the question of how you're going to communicate throughout a 1 year period, and when you're going to do this. So when I say, we kind of touch on the how, right, on how to
Okay.
craft that message, but we didn't necessarily talk on the when. I would say that for most businesses, and attorneys cannot obviously be out of this, but there are seasons in which maybe one type of service is ideal, right? It may just be that this type of legal need is required or is more prominent in the
Sure.
summer. It may
Yeah.
be that winter is the season for this type of service. So understanding how that works, understanding when you need to communicate your message, and which one of the 5 or 6 or 7 different type of themes are the ones that you're going to use during that time. I think that's why it's going to keep you relevant. What I'm trying to say here is that you need to stay organized and you need to plan on how you are going to relay that message. You need to know how you're going to relay that message by understanding or by knowing, hey, am I going to focus just on advertising on social media platforms? Am I going to use some PR that can fuel that message that I'm communicating on social media platforms? Am
What's
I
the difference
going,
between PR and advertising?
well,
Explain it.
creating, if depending on the practice that you have, there may be opportunities to be visible and relevant to the news media wherever you are,
Yes,
right? There
yes,
may be a specific cases in which the news media may want to reach out to someone like you for a professional opinion.
yes,
And you can eventually become like a regular
yes.
visitor or a regular source for this type of service. So, making sure that you stay visible with the news media, and how that maybe interview opportunity that you got with a TV station, with a radio station, can match your strategy, your communication strategy throughout the year. So that's another way
I
of
want to
knowing.
piggyback on what you just said, Jose, because
Okay.
this is very, very uh, worthwhile to
Hmm.
know how media cycles work and
Hmm.
why sometimes a producer needs a last minute expert to
Hmm.
interview to get an opinion or to
Hmm.
be a guest on a longer format show. But if you make yourself available and you let producers know that you're available on short notice, they will
Hmm.
call you because, again, the news cycle doesn't wait, and sometimes their experts are not available. So if
Right.
you are an expert, make yourself available. Establish
So
communication with producers.
yeah, and the keyword here is media relations, right?
Yes,
Making sure that you stay connected, you remain visible, and they are on your list of people that they can call for a specific topic.
that's
So
relevancy. That's
yes,
relevancy. So, so,
and
uh,
and
so,
and, and
Stephanie, an idea would be to pitch your service not necessarily indirectly, not directly to a producer, but to talk about how you would be a guest to talk about how a messy how a helping a couple clean up their closet ended up saving their relationship for Valentine's Day. Okay, it's like put a hook into the story,
right,
put a hook that is relevant to what is going on in the news cycle or what you anticipate to happen in the future, because that's what's going to get the attention of producers. Talk about
absolutely,
how having a neat and orderly house or bedroom increases the chance of romance in the bedroom. Okay, it's like be a little on the outrageous to get noticed so that you can get the attention of a producer to have
yeah.
you on as a guest or to contact you as an expert for some article or some story that they're doing.
Yeah, and summer, a lot of people are moving, right, during the
Yeah,
summer
exactly,
to new
exactly.
places. That may be your season right there.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
when you need to make sure that you're strategic about the message,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that you stay visible for those opportunities that may come up with the news
Or
media.
holidays where
Holidays,
families need neat and orderly houses. Back
yes.
to attorneys. I want to make 2 points because I've worked with three big, large law firms, and I want to piggyback on what you just said.
Mhm.
On weekends, there's a lot of criminal arrests for DWI, DUIs, for family altercations. So
Mhm.
Mondays, you can make Mondays if you're a law firm that handles criminal cases. Mondays could be dedicated to like the tip of the week
Right.
related to those themes. That's
That's
staying relevant. That's an
that.
example of what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly. That's when you turn up the volume with your advertising on social media platforms, right? That's
Exactly. People are
yeah,
looking for relief because they're in deep pain.
yeah.
I handle the advertising for a bankruptcy law firm. Guess when is the busiest season for them? January. January is like at the end of the year, they realize they're bankrupt because
Okay.
they didn't have, excuse me,
Mhm.
they spent their last money on presents and now they're broke and they can't pay their creditors. And so that's the time to go to bankruptcy law firm. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Uh, for immigration practice, usually it's not the summer because during the summer, that's the vacation time, but usually around income tax return time. Okay, so now until January 15 is a good time to be advertising to people that need a down payment for immigration services. So that's what we mean by relevancy. Jose, we're
Relevancy.
almost to the end. Can social media platforms be used to generate leads? Give us a secret
Abs-
sauce.
Absolutely. Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, very
Hmm.
good at generating leads for business to consumers, right?
Okay.
So definitely something that any law firm needs to consider. Uh, but I usually separate lead generation with lead intelligence,
Okay.
and this is the part where maybe some companies are not aware of that this is feasible, but it is. I mean, you can actually gather a lot of data. Well, social media platforms, anything digital is data, right?
Yes.
So there is a lot of data floating out there that is either free or you buy a third party platform to gain that information.
Yes.
So even in your lead generation team, having someone that is in charge of lead generation, basically sales, uh, and another team member doing the lead intelligence. And let me put it this way. I met this attorney that basically focused on uh, airplane accidents
Okay.
across the world. Okay, that to me is a guy that needs lead intelligence. Why? Because somebody has to be monitoring what's going on in different countries, right? And if this is an airplane that was manufactured in the US, then in this for this particular attorney, that became a case. So if you don't have someone checking and monitoring that information and making sure that you're passing that information at the right time,
Yes.
then you are missing on opportunities because otherwise you're waiting for a phone call, right? When you can be more proactive and
This gives
know.
a new meaning to ambulance chasers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can be an ambulance chaser, or you can know where things are happening and
Yes.
which time of the year things are happening, and you can be prepared for that. So that is what lead intelligence is about: knowing what's going on in the industry, where things are heading in the industry, and where the cases may be, which have a lot of potential to be a client of yours. And just as once you have the data, once you have the information, you have to be proactive and make that phone call, send that email.
Jose, we're right at the end of our scheduled time.
Yeah.
Give David Reyes some last minute tips on how to market restaurant.
I think that you
I know you
have
got
to
a lot of them, so come on. Don't
yeah,
hold.
but I mean, like always, right? Know your customer. If you know your customer, you know what you need to do. Understand what your customer is thinking. What are the things that are associated with those attributes in your business, right?
Okay,
And
let me
again, how.
translate that. Let me translate because I know his business.
Mhm.
David, what he's talking about is talk about how you are the only restaurant in Houston that serves Mexico City authentic recipes and spices. Okay. You will not find another restaurant in Houston that is more authentic with Mexico City cuisine. Okay. And having been to Mexico City, that is unique. You will not find that anywhere in the world. So that's what Jose is talking about.
Yeah.
A last minute tip for Stephanie, Jose.
Stephanie, just I think a lot of this was already shared by you, Victor, in terms of setting up a day of the week in which you can dedicate to social media content, making sure that you are using the reels on Instagram,
Mhm.
and understand what effect that can have on your business.
Okay. Let me translate. uh, Stephanie, what he's talking about is to add some zest, some spice into your marketing, into your messaging, is create like a mini micro reality show by first getting a signed release. Get a signed release from your customer that they're giving you permission to use their images, their name in case you need to, or their video that you're going to take in their house, and you're not compensating them, because if your business takes off, they could come back and say, hey, you need to pay up because we helped you grow your business. Get a signed release. Okay. The other one is to show the before. Take a picture of before or video or both, and after, so that people can see the big difference in what you do. They actually see your service in action. And again, one picture is worth 1,000 words.
And if I can add a little bit more to that, Victor, understanding that business today is different from maybe 20 or 30 years ago,
Yes.
in the sense of you're a business, you need to generate content that you can share
Yeah.
on social media platforms. And what this means for a lot of businesses is to actually have like a mini studio in their
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sell fruits, vegetables, whatever, but maybe on the back room of your establishment, you
Evergreen.
have to have that studio there
Yeah,
for you. Yeah.
absolutely. Jose, I have to translate everything that you say because you go to professorial. This is like the our listeners don't know what you're talking about. Uh,
Okay.
I have
A
to
photo
translate.
studio, a video studio.
Yeah, I have to translate all of your high tech, your theoretical, deep dive concepts that you share with us. We have to have you back, Jose, because
Sure.
that means that our next topic that we're going to cover is restaurants, how to market restaurants.
That's
Okay.
going to be fun.
So you need to come back, David, because we're going to really pack that transmission next Wednesday. This is a regular show now, Wednesday at 11, and we're going to give you a lot of secrets, a lot of hacks on how you can grow your business. Heck, we might even have some pictures to show of what you do and help you out, get your message to people in your area that are looking for an authentic Mexico City cuisine. Okay. So, Jose, thank you so much for joining us,
Sure.
and we look forward to our continued visit next week. Until next
Perfect.
time, we'll see you next time, friends. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.